Jessica Sporn here to show you some different ways to use stencils when you're working in mixed media. I'm using the top of a Derwent Inktense block tin as my substrate, and I'm going to cover it with pages that I tore out of an old book I was altering. I'm using matte medium to adhere the pages, working very randomly, just going for texture and coverage here. Next, I'm going to use a page stenciled with my Flying Tulip stencil to create some angel wings. I'm using part of a stencil from Stencil Club. I masked off the parts of the stencil that I did not want to use until I had this pretty leaf shape. And now I am filling in the islands. That's what you call the pieces of plastic that hold the openings of your stencil together. I'm using glitter glue to fill in those lines. Next, I'm using some white fluid acrylic paint, some blues, turquoise, a little magenta, just to create a nice painterly background. I'm using my fingers to rub the paint in, and now I'm using a baby wipe to take away some of the paint. I'm using stencils and rubbing away paint with my baby wipe to get a negative impression of the stencils. These are two new stencils I have coming out with Stencil Girl. You're getting a sneak peek of scales and peacock feathers. The glitter glue is dry, so I'm cutting out my wings. It's pretty amazing that I actually waited for the glue to dry. I'm often very impatient and end up smudging. And I decided to make a dress here for my angel. I'm using again some leftover paper from another project and the apples and pomegranate stencil. I'm using a very stiff bristle brush so I can get the distinction between the red for the apples and the pomegranate and the green for the leaves. I'm using some of the leftover green paint just to go around the edges of my dress. Here I am starting to make the face for my angel, and you will see me redo this face several times. Erase it, redraw it, repaint it. So I decided that her dress needed some sleeves. And I'm just cutting out two little triangles, which I'll then embellish with the apples and pomegranate stencil. So I'm rubbing away the face shape that I painted, and I really don't remember why I didn't like it, but I didn't. So it's gone. I decided to emboss the dress to make it really pop. So I stamped it with Versamark, and now I am covering it with tea powder and embossing. I love embossing. It's like magic. So now I'm putting in another face, erasing the face, painting again. Practice makes perfect. And I am using Helmar's 450 quick dry adhesive to glue this dress down, and it really does dry very quickly, especially when given a little help from fluid acrylic containers and your matte medium container for weight. Helps stick it down, and then before you know it, it's dry. So I'm very loosely outlining her dress using my super skinny brush and black fluid acrylics, giving her face some features, wiping them off, and adding my Cinnabon hair curls. Now I couldn't wait until that black fluid acrylic paint was dry, and I started painting in her hair right away, which led to a big oops on her face with a smudge. But that's the great thing with acrylic paint. You just let it dry and you paint right over it. Using my pearl pens to add some detail to the wings. Gold, black, silver, those are the three I have, so those are the ones I'm going to use. And then my black skinny brush for more outlining. I'm adding some doodling here with Scribbles fabric paint. Now I'm punching out circles on a piece of paper that I painted and stenciled and then not used for this project. And I decide to embellish them with my silver pearl pen. Here I'm adding text that I typed and printed out from my computer. It's a quote from Proverbs about wisdom and grace. I'm just going to adhere it down, tint it a little bit with Quin Gold, and outline it with my skinny brush, probably my favorite brush. So here I'm using part of another stencil from Stencil Club. I think this was designed by Mary Beth, and I really like to use parts of stencils because then it makes the work uniquely your own. And here I'm just going over what I stenciled with black paint to make it pop a little more. I love the way it looks like scalloping, almost like a fabric or a curtain hanging over her. And a little more futzing with her face, and she's done. Embrace wisdom, and she will set a garland of grace upon your head. Thanks for watching. I hope you'll visit me at jessicasporn.blogspot.com.